everybody, this is Overboy, and I'm going to be doing my review for the 2016 movie Captain America Civil War. The movie is directed by Joe and Anthony Russo and written by Christopher Marcus and Stephen McFeely. They also wrote the first two Captain America movies and Thor the Dark World, and would later go on to write Avengers Infinity War and the upcoming Avengers Endgame. In this movie, after the events of Avengers Age of Ultron went with its Sokovia and all the other previous events where the Avengers had caused a lot of damages to big cities and stuff, the government decides to step in and try to control the Avengers, and it splits the team in half. Iron Man and his side think that they should go along with the Accords, and Captain America doesn't. So they split into two teams, and Captain America's trying to find and save Bucky, who has been accused of killing the King of Wakanda, T'Chaka, in a big bombing, which he didn't do, but he's getting blamed for it. So he's trying to get Bucky to a safe place where he won't be under Hydra's mind control and everything. And pretty much from there, after Bucky and Cap and Sam Wilson, also known as Falcon, escape, and they join up with Ant-Man and Hawkeye and Scarlet Witch at this airport, and the Avengers have this big showdown with each other, and it's one of the best, actually it is the best one, probably the best fight scene I can think of in the MCU. It's just total fun to watch. I mean, you could tell the actors were having a blast in that scene and everything, especially in the part where Black Widow and Hawkeye are fighting, and she's like, "Are we still friends?" And he said, "Depends on how hard you hit me." You could tell they were just having a blast filming that scene and everything. But then after that, we find out that Tony Stark finds out that Bucky really is innocent, like Cap's been saying and everything, and he has the proof, so he's going to try to help them out. And that's when he finds out that Bucky is the one that killed his parents, and he finds out that Captain America knew about it, and it starts a big fight between the three of them and everything. And by the end of this movie, the Avengers are completely torn apart and everything because of this. This is a really, really good movie. It's easily in my at least top 5 favorite MCU movies. It's just a whole lot of fun. A lot of epic moments. That fight scene at the airport was just epic and everything. The cast in this is great. Chris Evans is wonderful as Captain America as always, and Sebastian Stan is good as Bucky, and Anthony Mackie is great as Sam Wilson. The three of them together are a lot of fun to watch, and then you add in all these other characters that Paul Bettany is the Vision. He's still really good. Jeremy Renner's great as Hawkeye, and Paul Rudd is in this as Ant-Man. This is the first time that Ant-Man's ever interacted with the Avengers, so it was a lot of fun getting to see that. And then on Iron Man's side, Robert Downey Jr. is wonderful as Iron Man as always. Scarlett Johansson is great as Black Widow. She kind of switches sides in this and everything. And Don Cheadle is in this as War Machine. I think this is some of the best we've gotten from Don Cheadle. I mean, it's not my most favorite appearance of War Machine, because I actually really liked seeing Rhodey in Avengers Age of Ultron, but he has an important part in this story and everything, and it's cool getting to see him interact with these other characters and stuff. And then Uh, Thunderbolt Ross is back in this from The Incredible Hulk, the first time that he's appeared in a movie, in an MCU movie since The Incredible Hulk. And it took him 8 years to even consider mentioning him, I guess, but he's in this, and the villain in this is played by Daniel Bruhl. His name is Helmut Zemo. I think he's one of the best MCU villains. He doesn't do a lot. In fact, he doesn't really pose any threats to the Avengers, but he completely succeeds in what he's trying to do. And that's just tear the Avengers apart from the inside, because his family was killed in Sokovia during the events of Age of Ultron. And I just really like the way his story is and everything. I think he's a very well done villain and everything. I like that they made him feel really human and everything. And I think Daniel Bruhl did a really great job playing him. This is also the movie where we get introduced to T'Challa, also known as Black Panther, and Chadwick Boseman does an excellent job playing him in this movie. And I didn't know anything about Black Panther before this movie, really. I'd seen a couple of animated episodes of the Avengers Assemble TV show on Disney Channel, and he was on there, but besides that, I didn't really know much about him, and I just absolutely loved seeing him in this. I think that Chadwick Boseman was a perfect casting. And his dad, T'Chaka, who gets killed in the bombing, is played by John Candy. He also does have small appearances in like flashbacks and stuff in the Black Panther movie, but he does a really good job playing his dad, I think. And he's going to be playing Rafiki in the new Lion King movie, so I can actually see it. I think he really, his voice and stuff reminds me a lot of Rafiki's voice, so I'm interested to see how he does when that movie gets out. Marissa Tomei plays Peter Parker's aunt, Aunt May, who is normally played by older people. In the Raimi trilogy, she's played by Rosemary Harris, and in the Amazing Spider-Man movie, she's played by Sally Field. So it was a big change for her, or for the character, and it's actually kind of weird thinking that Aunt May is really, really hot. But I mean, she's like really sexy and everything. I've always liked Marissa Tomei, but I really like the scene. I kind of wish that her and Robert Downey Jr. would have more scenes together in the MCU, because they have really good chemistry together. They had worked together before in a movie in the 90s. I think it was called Only You, but their chemistry is really good. And of course, the thing about the movie that everybody was the most excited for, I think, was the introduction of Tom Holland as Spider-Man, or Peter Parker, and I think he pulled it off perfectly. I'm one of those that's really, really biased when it comes to Spider-Man. I love Tobey Maguire and everything, and I think part of me being biased towards him is why I really didn't care for the Amazing Spider-Man movies as much. But I feel like Tom Holland is the absolute perfect choice to be playing him in the MCU. He fits in with all of the rest of the cast perfectly, and this was a really great introduction. He had the nerdy wit down to a T, and it was just absolutely perfect and everything. I know a lot of people that love Tom Holland. I know there are some that actually can't stand him, like my MaxiPad loving friend Troy, but I think he's absolutely perfect for the MCU and everything. So it was really great getting to see him for the first time in this movie and everything, and him appearing for the first time just made that airport scene 10 times more epic. Yeah, the story in this movie is really good, and the movie goes by really fast. It's almost a 2.5-hour movie, and it doesn't really feel slow at any parts of it. There might be a couple of little parts in the middle, but it's not anything that dulls it down or anything, and I always have a lot of fun with it. Um, there are things in here that I don't like, but it's not really anything to do with the way the movie was made or anything. It's just what stuff that happens with the characters and stuff. I hate that Captain America had to hide that from Iron Man and about his parents, and that he was so willing to tear the Avengers apart and everything just because he wanted to help Bucky. Um, all the work that they had gone through in the first two Avengers movies, he just threw it all down the drain just to help Bucky, which I understand in a lot of ways though, because I mean it is his childhood friend and everything, and I actually understand all the sides of everybody, because Iron Man has really good points too about they need to take responsibility for the damages they control and everything, but I also understand why Captain America doesn't want to be controlled by the government and everything, and I do understand why he didn't want to tell Tony about Bucky killing his parents, but he still should have done it, I think, and everything. But when I very first saw this movie, I was really mad at Captain America. I actually even kind of stopped being a fan for the character for a while, but after giving it a bunch of rewatches up, like, I guess I can understand where he's coming from. I mean, I guess if I had friends and things were, I was put in a similar situation, I don't know what I would have done, so I would like to say I would have done the right thing and told him, but I don't know, and hopefully I would never ever have to be put in that kind of situation. But the cinematography in this by Trent Opalock is really good. I think it has some of the best cinematography in here. I don't think it's quite on par as with the first Avengers cinematography, but it's still really good. And the editing is done once again by Jeffrey Ford and Matthew Schmidt, and I think it's done good and everything. They did a really good job editing it. The special effects in this are pretty good for the most part. There's not a lot of really terrible CGI or anything like that, and so I think that there is CGI in it, but it's not like distracting or anything, so I'd have to say that the special effects in this are good enough and everything. And the score by Henry Jackman, I think, is one of the best, especially during the airport scene. I think that was just, the score helped make the scene feel so epic and everything. But I'd have to say I'd give Captain America Civil War a 10 out of 10, because this is easily one of the best MCU movies. It's probably even, like I said, it's at least probably my top 5 favorites of the MCU and everything, and I enjoy it a little bit more every time I watch it and everything. I've watched it a good 6 or 7 times since I saw it in the theater and everything, so I just absolutely love it and everything. I think it's an excellent movie and everything. But alright, in the comments, let me know what you thought about this movie. Did you love it? Did you hate it? And were you on Team Cap or Team Iron Man? I personally am Team Iron Man, not just because Iron Man's my favorite MCU character, but also because he has Spider-Man, and that Spider-Man is my favorite superhero of all time, so that gives it a big nudge too. But even if Spider-Man wasn't on it, I'd probably still be on Iron Man's side. But let me know in the comments whose side you would have been on, and if there's any movie reviews, top 10 list, or movie series rankings you let me know in the comments, and I'll get to them as quick as I can. And I hope you enjoyed this review, and I'll try to have my review for Doctor Strange out sometime within the next 24 hours or so. And thank you, and have a good day.